Good stuff on display from the world's best so far today. The final day of the BetVictor Championship League. Can tell you on table 2, as you might expect, Matthew Salt does lead Si Jiahui 2-1. Si couldn't get the snooker he needed in the third frame on the colours. And the very latest from frame 4, Salt leads by 28 points to 0. Now, I was so paranoid about making a mistake here, I got my co-commentator Stephen Hallworth to check with me about their head-to-heads, these two, outside of the Championship League. I've mentioned they've played 18 times in this tournament over the years. Selby leads 10-8. But in all other tournaments, he leads Kyren Wilson 7-0. And there have been some big matches in there as well. Quarter-final of the World Championship, 2016. Semi-finals of back-to-back China Opens in 2017, 2018. Can Wilson get going and gain a measure of revenge in this one? Also, 6-5 for Selby, quarter-final of the Champion of Champions 5 years back from 4-0 down. And then a 10-3 hammering of Wilson in the quarter-finals of the Tour Championship in 2021.
Kyren Wilson.
There can't be too many players who the reigning world champion hasn't beaten in a world ranking event. Obviously, he can't beat the ones he's not played yet, but the ones he has played, maybe Selby's unique in that regard.
Yeah, and it's not uncommon to see players have a bogey player, is it? You know, I think throughout everyone's career, we've all had someone that we've just really struggled to beat.
Don't want to miss. Kyren Wilson.
Perhaps Mark Selby is Kyren Wilson's bogey player. Mark's probably a lot of people's bogey player, actually. I don't think anyone enjoys playing him. You just know how tough it's going to be.
Yeah, I think the other interesting aspect about that head-to-head is that outside of the Championship League, they've only played 7 times, which, considering their lofty status in the game, is a low number.
8.
So the escape from the snooker in behind the green from Mark Selby went horribly wrong. Found the gap through all the reds, left Kyren a chance to pot the red, bring the black into play. And now to possibly go into the pack once again. Lost the cue ball a touch.
16.
Didn't quite catch enough of the reds here. Watch the white. Half ball off one. Loses it to the backspin up the table.
Winning this match would really help Wilson. He'd get to 3 points. He'd move to second in the table. And it would partially alleviate pressure when he plays Hossein Vafai later in this session in what he's closing round-robin match.
$70.
Well, two ways of looking at that shot. It wobbled and jingled and jangled around the jaw, so it might have stayed out. So maybe you could say he was lucky it went in, but he's certainly unlucky with the positional aspect of the shot.
Yeah, the cue ball looked to be going nicely to at least give him a shot at a colour, but the red just came up and just flicked the blue, pushed it in front of the white, so he's on nothing actually. He can't even attempt anything here, Kyren, and he's got to try and find an area, probably in baulk, that will cover an easy return for Mark Selby. The option he's looking at here is to just nestle up to the blue, just tickle into it, try and leave Mark hampered over the blue. See Kyren just sort of gesticulating how Mark might have to play the next shot.
Kyren Wilson, 70.
Well, surely he can't get through to this red. Kyren seemed to spin around back to his seat pretty abruptly. Oh no. Oh dear.
One.
Not only the pot, but he could get to the middle of the white, Mark, so what a disaster that was for Kyren Wilson. It was a tentative little one, trying to nestle up to the blue. Didn't quite hit the cue ball hard enough. So one good pot here for Mark, and he'll be right in amongst them again. Not to be, and that will really, really
Selby.
please Kyren Wilson. What a let-off that was.
Putting you on the spot here, Stephen, but what do you think the percentage is for a top player knocking in that kind of shot? I would say 65, maybe?
From where he was there, actually, I would say more. In practice, there'd be probably 80–90% of that, so I'd probably go around 70–75% for that type of shot, just off straight on the blue. The only added difficulty is having to do something with the cue ball, which Mark was just screwing across slightly, but fully expected him to knock it in.
8.
I'm sure he did too.
When Ronnie O'Sullivan turned professional
9.
in 1992, he had to play a labyrinthine qualifying school up in Blackpool. He played 76 matches during that summer. He won 74 of them. And there were so many different aspects that made that achievement simply brilliant. But the one that always sticks out in my mind, when he got a shot like the blue that Selby has just missed, he would crunch them in one after the other. It was mind-blowing.
$70.
Yeah, it's just a technique shot, really. Just trust your technique. Players are such good cueists now that it's just about delivering that cue as you intend.
24.
So, put yourself in O'Sullivan's shoes, Stephen. 76 matches over the course of maybe 2.5 months. He was in a room at the Norbury Castle Hotel, basically up there, all summer, and his standard
25.
hardly seemed to dip. He lost to two opponents, Dave Finbow and Sean Story. On one occasion he damaged his tip. The other he lost because the other guy played better. But what a display, 74 out of 76. He won his first 38 matches as a professional.
Just ridiculous, isn't it? Ridiculous figures. But it's a shame he never went on to do anything in this game.
Yeah, what happened to him? There were little booths for all of the tables there. I believe on occasions there are as many as 26 tables in operation, and around each table there are around 25, 30 seats max. And the word soon got out when O'Sullivan played, you could never get a seat. So with that black, he's okay.
Kyren Wilson, 43.
Well, how foolish of me. He should be okay. He's playing Mark Selby, you never know.
Yeah, worth carrying on for Mark. 2 snookers required. The brown's in a pretty healthy position in terms of creating a big target in that balk area. These reds close to a plant to left corner. No, but again, trying to get that cue ball up in behind that brown. Good attempt. He's got the snooker here, but there'll be no danger that Kyren will hit these reds. The only concern is that he doesn't want to stick Mark in amongst them and give him a free chance to pot a few reds and blacks, which he has done.
The first result on table 2 of the day could be imminent. Matthew Selt is about to knock in frame and match ball to beat Sijawi 3-1.
1.
And Selt now back in the mix for a semi-final appearance.
Eight. 9.
Yeah, he's still potting balls, Matthew Selt, but he's over the line. No ifs, buts or maybes. And so his last round-robin match against Judd Trump on table 2. If he could win that, he could definitely finish inside the top 4. As for the defeated Sijawi, now he has to beat Mark Selby and Hossein Vafai in his last 2 contests.
Mark Selby, 16.
Wilson unable to kill the frame off. By the way, we do have a competition for you today. It's for a couple of tickets to the UK Open 9-ball pool final, taking place in Telford in the West Midlands from
1.
May 6 to May 11. I will give you that question early in the next frame. I always get the impression that Mark Selby would be very good at 9-ball pool. I've mentioned this before. I think if he tried his hand, he could be the best of the snooker players in that game.
Yeah, I think any discipline of cue sport, a lot of snooker players would tend to be good at. I know a few are dabbling in the Chinese 8-ball, and we've just had a Chinese 8-ball table installed in my club in Lincoln. Brilliant game. Thoroughly enjoyed playing, and something that I see myself having a little go at some point. I spoke to Mark yesterday, of course. He's closely related to Gareth Potts, who's one of the best pool players in the world.
Yeah. Has any sportsman in the world got a more appropriate name than Gareth Potts?
Yeah. Yeah, the Chinese 8-ball, just quickly on that, it's like the perfect hybrid of pool and snooker. It is quite difficult, so you need a high skill level, but you need to be a good cueist as well, which obviously a lot of snooker players are. Most of snooker players are. It's a great game to get involved in.
Well, you see a lot of small tables in English pubs, British pubs, and Mark Selby has won the World 8-Ball Championship under English pool rules. He's so clever, and that's a brilliant snooker, not just laying the snooker, but laying it so precisely.
Yeah, there's no doubt, though, with all the disciplines of cue sports, this is the governor. Snooker will always be the governor. You know, pool's great and it's fun and, you know, it's a social game, but not everyone can play snooker. Most people can play pool. I'm probably going to get a bit of stick about that, Phil, but I'm standing by my guns.
So next time you go to the Moscone Cup, I'm going to point you out to the crowd. That's him who said snooker will always be the governor. That's the fellow. In this kind of situation, he's like a dog with a bone. He just won't let go.
And even when you think you've played a good shot against him, you think, oh, I've got him trapped here, got him right where I want him. He finds a way not only to get out of trouble himself, but to get you back in trouble. It's just relentless. Yet to get the penalty points, but once again, what an opportunity that Mark has got here to try and send the red up to balk, screw in behind the black. He'd like the red to go close to either brown or green, ideally. Yeah, it's a good line. Very good.
When it comes to laying snookers with Selby, there's almost an inevitability about it. I'm not saying he enjoys needing snookers in frames, but I think he's got the perfect attitude.
Yeah, most players would see that as a good shot. Mark's probably gone back to his seat thinking, that was careless. I haven't got that white tight to the black. Kyren's got a 2-cushion escape here, but Kyren needs to be incredibly careful. If he misses the red, there's a chance he leaves a free ball. That's why he's played it at the pace that he has. Well, that's a very good hit. Good shot.
You know, with this exchange going on, I might well give you the question for those UK Open Pool final tickets on May the 11th in Telford. Send your answers to X, Twitter, whatever you like to call it, at CL Snooker. And the question is, in last year's UK Open, Robbie Capito from Hong Kong captured the title. Breakthrough. The question is, who did he beat in the final? So, who was the runner-up in last year's UK Open?
Again, another very good shot from Mark Selby to control the pace of the cue ball from where he was. Excellent. Putting Kyren through a world of pain here.
I'm convinced at this level, many players have the ability to pull off the shots that Selby pulls off. Where he excels for me, it's visualization. It's not just the completion of the shot, it's actually working out what to do, because he's so full of imagination when it comes to this kind of thing.
Yeah, he's just so clever, isn't he? Just sees the game. He's just got perfect snooker brain. Every shot is played with a motive, and I was saying yesterday, quite often a snooker player at the top level, depending on the situation of course, is thinking a few shots ahead. Trying to plan your route, work things out, look at potential ways to win the frame, etc. Mark Selby's not only doing that for himself, thinking a few shots ahead, he's thinking a few shots ahead for you. In a safety exchange like this, he knows the shot that he's going to play, and he's trying to preempt the shot that you're going to play. It's incredible.
And I think it's one of the reasons why he's involved in so many lengthy matches. It's not because he's a slow player, he most certainly isn't. It's because, so if he plays 2 or 3 of these frames in every match, the amount of time taken by going for snookers adds up.
And another chance to get in behind the black. 2 cushions. All about pace. It was a great pace, just the line slightly off.
Second match on table 2 has begun. Hossein Vafai, Jiagodong. And this is what Selby does, even if he doesn't get the requisite penalty points. By going for snookers over an extended period of time, quite often he knocks his opponent out of rhythm.
Well, this will be a hard-fought £200 for Kyren Wilson if he wins this frame. He's put him through the ringer here, Mark Selby.
Yeah, the fact that Selby needs 2 snookers, I think, will take the edge off for Wilson, but he's most certainly not dropping his guard.
Yeah, but that's the thing with Mark. He's that clever. He's that streetwise out there on the table that even 2 snookers you don't feel comfortable, because you probably fancy him getting a good snooker and always the possibility of a free ball.
The pink, though, has to go in. And as that pink went into the pocket,
7.
you can almost imagine Wilson thinking, oh no. It continues.
Mark Selby, 7.
And he'll be disappointed there, Mark, not to have got closer in behind that blue. Again, snooker is easy enough to hit. Got another chance to do that here. Got some lovely targets on this table, actually. It's just not about laying the snooker. It needs to be tight. It needs to be good.
Selby, 2.
Now here's an interesting situation. Kyren may have fluked the snooker back here, but Mark won't be looking to just hit this green. He'll be looking to try and lay the snooker back from it. You can obviously see a thin edge, so trying to get the cue ball back down this end of the table. It's not a good shot from Mark. Very, very poor shot. Thought he might have tried to go cushion first there and send the green down the table, try and get the cue ball back in behind the brown.
Was it a fluke green that was so influential in Kyren Wilson beating Anthony McGill in the World Championship semi-final? A less important fluke green there, but it does wrap up the frame and allows Wilson to equalise 1-1. Welcome back to day 16, the final day of the 2025 Invitational BetVictor Championship League.
Kyren Wilson.
Every match, every frame now of increasing importance. Not the only snooker going on at the moment. Also, Welsh Open qualifiers at the M1 in Barnsley in Yorkshire. The first qualifying round ends today. And a big shout out for Austria's Florian Nörsler, who's just beaten Jiang Jun 4-3. Good result anyway, but when you consider he started the match with a break of 143. So well done to Nörsler. Former WSF champion Ma Hailong, he beat Oliver Brifford Payne 4-1. And Rory Thor made a 1-4-2 in beating Riley Powell 4-3. Oh, can you believe that?
Wow, didn't know where to look there. He's found a plant, Kyren Wilson. He's nailed it. And the red that he's actually struck initially has rebounded the cue ball into this corner pocket. Worse yet, he's left the red hanging for Mark Selby, so never rains, it pours. That's outrageous.
Just one other piece of news for you from those Welsh Open qualifiers. the big news yesterday. Congratulations to Rhiannon Evans beating Julian Leclerc 4-1. Well, Mick Nutcheret, another former women's world champion, she might gain a notable scalp. She's 3-3 at the moment in a deciding frame with Andrew Paget. Wanted a thicker contact on the initial red than he achieved. It just skimmed away. Consequently, loss of position.
Yeah, he took a chance there, Mark, going into the reds. He might have fancied, had he have caught the pack nicer, not only bringing reds into play, but maybe just promoting the black spot, getting the black into play. It's, well, the opposite has happened. Worst thing possible has happened. He's pushed the pink safe as well, not opened the black, and he's not on a red.
I told a lie when I said my final bit of news from the qualifiers. How about this one? Hungary's Borshu Reves and Anton Kazakov started at 10 o'clock. They've just gone 2-2.
Just underlines the pressure that's out there in those qualifiers. The Barnsley Metrodome is really heating up. Not a very nice place to be in those qualifiers. It's Kyren Wilson once again finds the corner pocket with the cue ball. We'd love this red to disappear, but it isn't going to. As it travelled on, can Mark Selby cut it in?
Selby would have loved that red to catch the far jaw of the middle pocket and bounce back up towards the baulk line. But it did meander on.
Yeah, clearly the red doesn't clip, so just trying to swing the cue ball around, get the white, somewhere green side of the baulk cushion.
Okay, the cue ball is just about in baulk. But I think Wilson would be the first to agree he made a hash of that. Helped by a break of 58, Hossein Vafai has taken the first frame from Zhao Guodong on table 2. Well, Selby's safety shot was worse than the one that preceded it from Wilson.
that's worked out fine. Although the black will only be available to the left corner pocket once respotted. For the time being, anyway. It's a real battle, this, for Kyren Wilson. Not just battling his opponent, but probably battling himself because of the results not quite going his way. It's a big, big game, as we've already mentioned. Both players desperate for the point.
Yeah, Mark Selby trying to become only the second player to retain the BetVictor Championship League title. John Higgins has done it twice. Back-to-back triumphs in this tournament for him in 2017, 2018, and then in 22 and 23.
He's right on the red in amongst them, which he is. That was the ideal one to remove because that completely opens the black spot up now. Can pop this black, pop the red right of it, and then he's away. It's a graft to get into this position, did Kyren Wilson, but the hard work seemingly is now done. Just got to control things, mind his business.
Yesterday, of course, was just a couple of days after winning the German Masters in dramatic fashion against Barry Hawkins. Now the head is back down, looking for what would be 2 trophies in 3 days. And as the winning line gets closer, I think Wilson will become more and more energised. After this, competitively, he's got a few days off before going to the Welsh Open in Llandudno next week.
So looking for one more red here, Kyren. Couldn't do too much with that one. Hampered over the red on the cushion, so just needs to make sure of this one. And it goes, no problem. So from losing the opening frame, he's turned this one around well, he's responded well. As he misses the black, which will annoy him because there was a chance of a century. And worse yet, the master is coming back to the table.
Yeah, it could be a carbon copy of frame 2. Selby needing a couple of snookers.
Kyren will be so annoyed with himself there because as he's missed the black, he's gone back to his seat, no doubt looking out the corner of his eye, and as soon as he saw Mark Selby get hold of his cue and stand up to come back to the table, I'm sure he wanted to scream because he knows that this frame could go on. Just energy expended for no reason.
The black that Wilson missed was very similar, actually, to a black that Trump missed in his match against Zhao Guodong yesterday. That was in the first frame. It was effectively frame ball. He needed one more red, which was almost a given. Trump fell 2-0 down in that match, but grittily won 3-2. I think it was exactly the same cause, just lack of concentration. And really, Wilson should know better, because against Mark Selby, it's not about potting frame ball. It should be basically frame ball plus at least 3 more to avoid any of this.
Yeah, he's just close every time to lay in a good snooker, isn't he? And here's another. Just another brilliant shot from Mark. Good line, great pace. Tough swerve this for Kyren. Not only got to hit it, but try and get distance. Because again, he's going to be in big trouble when he comes back to the table. Probably welded in behind the brown. Just got to be careful he doesn't push that red ball close to this right corner pocket. I'd like it in the middle of the table just to have a bit of room behind it to go behind.
And that's delivered because he couldn't be too precise. Had to make sure of the pace of the cue ball. But no alarms.
Yeah, he was forced into potting the red in the previous frame when trying for snookers. He'd like to keep it out here, even though he's got the guaranteed red-black. Potentially means you need one less snooker with a free ball, and there's another brilliant shot from Mark. And though the red ball, sorry, going close to the corner of the table, it's a big target for Kyren. But his issue here is the brown. The brown is a big ball coming one cushion across. As it slid too far. Ooh, very close. But not close enough, so there's one of the foul 4 points.
It is just relentless. All because of a touch of Wilson complacency.
This is exactly why Wilson would have probably imploded when he went back to his seat. Having missed the black, he knew what he was in for. All he can do is just keep trying to hit the red and just hope that it runs safe. Hope he gets a snooker back. Just hope for anything. Going to be in behind the pink again here.
Selby jumped up there as though he'd played it badly. Offering a smidgen of false hope.
The Torturer. That's more an apt nickname than the Jester. There's nothing funny about this. Not for Kyren, anyway.
But any lover of snooker would just marvel at this, because it happens time and time again. One of snooker's all-time great tacticians.
He's had absolutely zero control over the table, Kyren Wilson, for about 10 minutes now. Ever since he missed that black, actually. It's been all Mark Selby. Kyren's just clinging on, even though it's him with the lead. Blood, sweat and tears again this frame for Kyren. The last frame was hard-earned. This one is going to be exactly the same.
Playing for snookers, for most professionals, is a chore. I think for Mark Selby, he regards it as a challenge and something he rises to. The hurt could be about to end. Then again. See, this kind of exchange, just as in the previous frame, drains any attacking momentum out of an opponent.
This is exactly why perhaps Kyren has got such a bad record away from the Championship League against Mark Selby. Selby able to really disrupt Kyren's rhythm. But that's not necessarily down to what Mark is doing. This is all down to what Kyren Wilson didn't do. You know, in fairness, he missed a black off the spot, which you shouldn't miss at any level. Never mind this level. And Kyren would have expected to have been put through the ringer here, and he certainly has been. And the next time he comes to the table, he should be touching ball behind the blue. And he wants that red in open play. That's fine. Pretty good. Selby's loving this. It's sick, really. It's an incredible mindset to have. He probably just can't see a way in which he loses this frame, Mark Selby. It's unbelievable. How can you think that way? You need a snooker, you're behind. Can't see himself losing this frame. Yeah, that's a very good hit from Kyren. Brilliant. Those one cushions look scary when you've been put through it like he has.
With position on the black almost guaranteed, it was the time to pot the last red. When the black goes in, he will still need one snooker.
It's a big target in behind that green. Well, the way he's played it, it looks as if he's going to pot this yellow, try and pot the green, and then try and lay the snooker in behind the blue from the brown.
8.
He's gone one earlier.
Yeah, and he just sort of angled his cue as to potentially where he'd like the green, possibly looking to send the green towards the pink. He's got options here though, Mark. He could play down in behind the black. Either way, you know he's going to go close.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Especially with the in off. This could be a real tide turner, not just in this frame, not just in this match, in this group.
It was such a big swerve. He needed to catch it a little earlier, that swerve. He was quite a distance away from the blue, and worse yet, as you say, the in off. Well, it's a chance for Selby now for a clearance in a frame that he had absolutely no right to win. As I say, a frame that he just feels he probably can't lose, Mark. At 2 snookers, he's come back to the table doing cartwheels, the thought of even having a chance. And all of a sudden, he's got them. He's put Kyren through hell and back here. Can he make this clearance to really land a body blow?
The position of the pink provides hope for Wilson. But Selby is so good with this particular kind of shot.
Oh, just stop it, Mark. Just stop it. I've seen enough, Phil.
Selby's a brilliant doubler, much like John Higgins. Well, he's displayed a lot of steel up in Sheffield to win World Championships. And he's trademarked steel in that frame.